Hello, everyone. I'm Zhenqi Tian. Thank you for joining us. And today, I'd like to show you ballad number 2 in F major op. 38 I played recently. My talk is divided into 3 parts. Firstly, I'm going to talk about background of this piece, and then I will share its significance and the reason why I'm interested in it. Finally, I will analyze this piece. This talk will last about 10 minutes, and if you have any questions, I will address them in the end. So let's get started here then. The first attraction, I like to focus on something that is brief introduction of Chopin's second ballad. Ballad number 2 in F major op. 38, written in 1836, dedicated to Schumann. This is inspired by a narrative poem, Mickey's Savage Girl. It is a narrative poem with a fresh and simple style and a strong folk color. It tells love tragedy of a girl who turned into a water monster to take revenge on a heartbreaker. Moving on now to why it is so important. Most of people think the second ballad is the least popular of 4 ballads. Maybe because its sudden, amazing speed change make it harder to understand and explain. But when I heard it for the first time, the sudden change shocked me and gave me a lot of memories. Since then, I love it. It is pretty tough to understand Chopin's work, but from the perspective of content and form of work, the lyrical and singing melody demonstrate perfect embodiment of romantic music style. In fact, among Chopin's 4 piano ballads, the second ballad is the most representative titles of piano ballads. Schumann once commented, "A poet can easily fill in lyrics for it." Therefore, although it is not Chopin's most famous work, folk song theme is very distinctive and impressive. I think if we can play it well, we can understand other romantic period music works easier. Now, let us get back to the point. I want to spend some time to analyze this piece. It has 2 distinct and different themes. They are emotionally divided into 2 levels, and structure often changes in F major and A minor. The first theme expresses the quiet and the beautiful nature, but also expresses the happy and bright mood of the composer at that time. Then the second theme suddenly reflects severe weather with sudden rainstorm. On the other hand, it also reflects the excitement and the anxiety in the composer's heart. To give you an example, I like to draw your attention to Rubinstein's interpretation of the theme. Now let's get started by looking at section A from 1 to 46 bar. This is the first theme of the whole song. It is a rustic and small style, and it starts in 6/8 bar beats and runs through the whole. This kind of beat is very narrative. The first part is also the slow part. Speed is identical, and the initial expression term is thought voice. So we need to play very lightly, probably at the speed of walking. We can imagine the sound of shepherd flute coming from afar in the countryside. Here, Chopin uses the Siliana rhythm type. It is a rhythm with dotted circumflex, short, long, short. Da, 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 da. Well, we can be imagined as a sound of heart beating. Let us show part of this piece. ballad from silence, it looks like waves of water, I think, and just like go up and go down. We totally enjoy happiness and we feel good. Moving on to the next part, section B, from 47 to 82 bar. The speed of the second theme is presto, and the intensity is pianist, which contrasts greatly with speed and intensity of the first theme. As fierce as storm, with a strong fighting nature, the turbulent sound flow of the right hand on the texture, accompanied by the octave of the left hand, strikes a severe melody short sentences. In the tonality, Chopin uses the melody model to advance the dramatic conflict of music. The feeling without any preparation, something happens suddenly, make us feel both scared and anxious. The music supplies the way that the audience want to escape from the whole, a feeling of drama. Now let's move on to section A1 from 83 to 140 bar. After the second theme, the first theme reappearing section appeared as I mentioned earlier. But there are some variations and polyphonic deformation have also been used. At this time, the storm feels silent, and the familiar first part reappeared, and the beautiful fairy reappeared in the lake. Silence feels calm. There is a feeling of anxiety of waiting for something. We can hear tension and release pain in a different way, cause small waves from the A minor. Say the beginning of this middle section, and from here we feel good. Please have the dude. We have a love scene. Finally, I'd like to finish by section B1 from 141 to 204 bar. You may recall that we explained section B. The climax was reached at the 188 bar. Immediately after the second theme, the segment appeared in the bass part. After 8 bars, it was rushed and suddenly interrupted by its strongest note on the sharp and inconsistent chord. After that, the intensity dropped to the weakest, followed by a fragment of the first theme of the 5 bars in A minor. returned to the original tranquility, but this tranquility was covered with a gloomy and sad tone. After the rest, the seventh chord was decomposed to arpeggio in A minor key. Can you imagine the last wave in the lake? All the beautiful passion, anger described the narrative poem are all submerged in the peaceful lake, as if nothing has happened. And now I'm thinking about it is a kind of fantastic storm, and I have to say it's a great masterpiece. I think we still have time for one more question. I guess some classmates will ask a question about birth of narrative genres. So let's take a look at it. The earliest narratives originated from the ancient vocal music genre in the West. The application of this art form to pure instrumental works in the 19th century marked the birth of the narrative genre. The melody of this genre is pricey with a wide range of content. Chopin's Spade is a large-scale symphonic genre music. Some Chopin's research scholar has said Chopin pioneered the genre of piano ballads for the first time. And this is reference. Now I'm nearing the end of presentation. Today I told you the interpretation of this piece. It was a brief introduce the second ballad, but I hope you enjoyed it. That's it for today. Thank you for coming.